Welcome one and all. Now, today, I want to ask you one question. Are you happy with the current matrix of the regular season schedule for the National Hockey League? If the answer is no, well then, I think I might have the solution for you. So the NHL has played 82 games for quite a while now. In fact, I'm going to look it up for you. So give me 2 seconds. Right. So the 1995-96 NHL season was the first season where teams played 82 games. So just not long before I was born. I was born November of 96. So the 95-96 season, which of course was the infamous year, obviously with the Colorado Avalanche winning their first Stanley Cup in their first ever year to the move from Quebec, and of course taking down the Florida Panthers. So that's the first season the Islanders have played 82 games. Since then, 82 has kind of been an ideal number. But, as we all know, over the last 6 years, the league has been busy expanding. Of course, obviously we expanded to Vegas in 2017 to create the monster that is the Golden Knights. And of course, very recently in 2021, we expanded to Seattle to give us the more likeable Kraken. And I think actually since Vegas, you can really tell 82 probably is not enough. Because when Vegas arrived in our division, I don't know if any other divisions noticed this, but when Vegas arrived in the 78th season in our division, we had to play one or two teams 5 times compared to 4. It just was not ideal. I don't know if any other divisions noticed that, but we definitely did when Vegas arrived. So you think, Seattle arriving, good. Gonna play a nice even number of games against everybody. Oh, wait a minute, no. So last season, of course, we had a brand new scheduling matrix where basically the only thing that was different was, of course, how many games you play in your division. So obviously last year, you would play some of your division rivals 3 times, some 4 times. And it's only been this season have I started to notice, well actually that's not really gone down very well. It's not been quite popular. And I suppose one of the beauties about watching other teams' games on their broadcast is you get to have an out of town picture on some issues, like obviously scheduling matrix, because some broadcasters on the other teams did say they weren't really fans of this because they've got so many people, that many. This team only dropped 3 times, that team 3 times. It's like, and actually this season, a lot of the big rivalries have been very diluted because of this scheduling matrix. I don't know. I mean, the Battle of Alberta, for example, was only done 3 times. Although you could argue we were back last year. We were treated to about Alberta playoff series for the first time probably in 30 years. But what I'm saying, that got diluted. The 3-way rivalry between the Kings and the Ducks, that got diluted. They only played 3 times this year. The Rangers and Islanders, they only played 3 times this year. And it's not a big rival, I'm going to put it in that. I only got to see the Kraken 3 times this year, which was not on because obviously A, they're still a brand new club, and B, I've liked them more than I did Vegas. So Yeah. And it's been quite funny because ever since Seattle first got awarded their franchise, we got to go way back. We got to go way back to December 2018. Got to go way back to then. So when the Kraken first got awarded their franchise, I then had then spent the next, how many years was it, 3 or 4 years trying to do the maths. How does that work with 32 teams, 82 games? And the maths has never been able to stack up. Now, maths is not my strong point, but it has never been able to really stack up. And then just before Christmas, I had heard some reports suggesting that the league would be considering moving to an 84 regular season schedule. Now, at the time, I thought, oh, don't be silly, that's outrageous. We don't need 2 more games as it is. It's a long season, it is. Well, it's not a Olympics baseball season, let me tell you that. But it can, especially when you get to this point of the year when all the Stanley Cup finals, it can feel like a bit of a lengthy season. 82 games. You've got 4 rounds of best of 7s in your playoffs. It can be very, very lengthy. But I've done the maths. I have worked on the maths. And actually, I think 84 probably would be the right way to do it. So, here we go. And I just need to bring up a few things. Like, for a starter, calculator, because I'm not doing mental maths. I mean, maths is not my strong point, but I'm not going to do mental maths right now. Let's not make it hard for ourselves. Right. So we need that. And we need the current alignment. So I would say next little bit. Right, here we go. Got that up. Right, okay. So, right, are you ready? We're gonna do the maths now, right? Okay. I have done the maths, and actually, 84 actually probably is the right way to go. So, here we go. Right. So, I'm gonna use my team to help me spell this out for you, okay? Right, so the Sharks play all Eastern Conference teams twice every season. One in their home barn and once at the tank. So, if we take the 8 teams in the Atlantic Division, so that is 8. So you times that by 2, that is 16. You then play all the Metropolitan Division teams, as I mentioned twice. One in their bar, one of the tanks, that's number 8 times 2, so that's 16. So do 16 times 2, gives you 32, which of course is the current number of teams in the National Hockey League. So 16 times 2, that gives you 32. Right. That's the easy bit. So let's remember, that's the easy bit. So that's currently 32 games so far. Now the tricky bit. So of course, as you all know, in your conference, you play different number of games. So we'll do the teams that are in your conference, but not in your division. So in the Sharks' case, the Central Division, you play them 3 times a year. And of course, you alternate every year on who gets the extra home fixture. So that's 8 teams for the Centrals. So you times that by 3. So, which of course is 24. So we add 32 to 24. And that gives us 56. So now, and hopefully I've got this right. If not, oh god. Right, so there you go. So 56. Right, now, that leaves you with, I think, an extra. Right, so 56. Now on to your division. So for the Sharks' case, they see everybody in the Pacific Division. If they were to do 84, if you do them 4 times, which is what we had before Vegas and Seattle. So let's just say if the Sharks played everybody in the Pacific Division 4 times, so that would be 4 times 7, which is 28. So we add that to the current 56, and there you go! 80, that gets you to 84! So there you go! For a minute there, down the slug, because obviously I'd worked this out back in March. Not God, I came back from Saturday. I thought, oh my god. So there you go. So there you go. So there you go. So there you go. So that is how you could get to 84 games. And that works out well. So, all the league would need to do to make this work of having 84 regular game season is all you need to do is just play everybody in your division 4 times, and then that will take you to the 84 game mark. Now it's only an extra two games, so it's not that big of a deal because obviously we've still got all these 32 clubs. Let's not get started on the maybes and what ifs. Let's not go there. That is a separate video. That's a separate video. Yeah, so yeah, it works kind of quite well. And you get those rivalries, because the league is very, very determined to create divisional rivalries. Although I think if you do the playoffs in the Stanley Cup, Calder Cup style, you definitely would get those division rivalries. Because the first 2 rounds will be division heavy. But again, that's another video. So you would get to see all the division rivalries the same amount of times, and it would work out for the best. Now, I was very surprised during the press conference that the Commissioner and the Deputy had every year before the first game of the Stanley Cup Final. I was very surprised because I did watch that press conference in full, and most of the questions that we thought that Bettman and Diego got asked, they did. Like, what's going to happen to Arizona now they lost their referendum? Are you going to be expanding anytime soon? What's going on with the Senators? Those questions we were expecting, and we got, but the answers were not that great. But nobody seemed to really ask the question of, well, do you maybe see playing more games in the regular season or not? No one seemed. They were a very timid audience, a very timid press room. It was all like they had to be forced to ask questions. But I was there, I would have literally gone, right, bum 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 bum. Literally would have gone quick fire. It's like, oh my god. These supposed to be professional journalists. Honestly. Make the most of it. It's not every day you get to see the Commissioner of the Sports League come out and ask questions. Make the most of it, people. Yeah. That question never came up. It never came up. So that leads me to suspect that maybe next season we're going to be stuck with the current matrix, which is not ideal. Let's face it, it's not ideal, and I didn't think it wasn't ideal until this season. I thought last season was working fine. But that's because I was still. Because for me, my main focus last season was, for me, the big story of last season was, of course, the arrival of the Seattle Kraken. That, for me, was my big story of last season, so I wasn't focusing on anyone else. This season, now they're in, now they're here, they're now all of us, the expansion tag's gone. Okay, I was to keep an eye on other stories. And yeah, quite a lot of other teams' broadcasts did pick this up. Particularly the Ducks. They were not happy to only be playing the Kings 3 times this season, they really were not. But yeah, and some of those big rivals, like I mentioned, the Rangers-Islanders rivalry, the Battle of Alberta rivalry, although you could argue that obviously we did get treated to a Battle of Alberta Plus series last year for the first time in 30 years. We're going to get a Battle of Alberta matchup in the Heritage Classic next season, but at the same time, we just want more of those games. The Ducks Kings was number 1. Those were the main three. I bet there was more rivalries that got diluted this year, but they were the main three that I could think of that definitely, yeah, they got diluted 3 times. Yeah. But the league is so determined to focus on division rivalries. So why are you not making it easier for division rivals to play each other? Why are we having less division games? Shouldn't it be then more division games? And that, what I've just took you through there, that will solve the problem. Wasn't life simple before Vegas? Wasn't it simple? I'm not just saying that because I hate Vegas. Wasn't it just so simple back then? You got to see your division rivals 4 times a year. It's all fine. Yeah, wasn't it simpler back then? Vegas comes along and screws the whole thing up. So it's their fault. It's always their fault. It's always their fault. Anything goes wrong in the whole... Naturally, it's always Vegas' fault. It's always their fault. Blame it on Vegas. And that's good fun, trust me. Yeah, so if not this season, because it was good. I mean, it could still. I mean, it could. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the question didn't get brought up during the commissioner and deputy commissioner's press conference. It didn't get brought up then. That doesn't mean that maybe come maybe end of June or beginning of July, depending on when we get scheduled rules for next season, we could maybe get surprised, and it might be a big surprise where, look, ta-da! And we'll all go, yeah, so what? We all saw it coming. Because you all know these days, the NHL can't do surprises, can it? You know, we see, like, with the Stadium Series next year, they thought they kept that secret. Nope. They were like, look, ta-da! And we're like, we already knew, mate. It got leaked on Twitter. Oh dear. But so it could still, I know it didn't get brought up in the press conference, but it could technically still happen. They might surprise and go, well, actually, no, we are going to do 84 games next season. Or it could more likely be implemented the year after. Because honestly, I mean, at the time I was all for giving this schedule matrix we could have got. I was all for giving it a go. You know, with 32 teams, let's see how this goes. And clearly, it's not working. Okay. But obviously, it's taken, you know, a fair bit of time to see that. It took a bit, but clearly it's not, because the division rivalries are literally being diluted. Because certain division rivalries, you're only seeing 3 times, which is not good. You know, because a lot of these teams have spent years and years and years and years building a lot of these rivalries. And the fact that I get to see them 3 times a year, it's not really that great. You want division, you crave division games. You crave those division matchups. You crave it when you can see your division rivals. Whether you love them or you hate them, you always look forward to those games because those are the best type of games. They really are. Yeah, so there you go. So that is how we could fix the problem. Will the league listen? Well, they haven't listened to me about how to fix the playoffs with the wild cards, so I doubt they're going to listen to this. But if they are, then I've basically shown you in this video today how you can go about fixing the schedules so that you can play a decent amount of games, still do your playoffs as normal, but so we can get those division rivalries still kicking and alive and well. Okay, so over to you now, guys. What do you make of that? Would you want to see 84 games? Would you in the regular season, or are you happy with the 82, but maybe it needs to be redefined somehow. I don't know. Okay, let me know what you think. Because that's going to be it for us today, for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've loved it, do click the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, can you click the subscribe button? That was asked like your system where you can collect clean by episodes of Team Report Vids. You can read the best content, my opinion on your channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Where they get your podcast got brand new for you every single month during that regular season. So that's all me to say, so I'll leave you now.